guys, Slevtek here, and we have another episode of Slevtek's Roundtable, where we get a little bit of a better insight into streamers of all sizes to see who they are on and off of camera. Today we have a special guest, Superman85. What is going on, man? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Can't complain, man. I've had a pretty cool day. Can't complain at all. You got to meet a viewer of or a supporter of the stream for the first time, which is really cool. Then had a podcast a little earlier, and then played some Blackout with Freak Style. I don't know if you know who he is.
No, I haven't heard the name, but
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. Him and his wife actually game together, and they kind of
oh,
have like
nice.
a stream situation kind of set up for that. So really unique, really cool, and they're like in their 40s and love gaming every night. So it's
Good stuff.
really fascinating. What about you, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just had an interesting weekend. Just got back yesterday. We took the kids out to see Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh yeah, how did
Uh,
that go?
yeah, dude, that it's always a fun time.
Yeah.
And when you can have, family time, the wife, the kids, get out, do something the kids enjoy, it's always a blast.
Yeah. Do any of them like basketball or?
My son actually is a really big basketball
Okay.
fan. He plays for his school. I played when I was younger,
Okay.
so it's almost like getting to live dreams all over
Yeah,
again.
live vicariously through
And
your kid.
exactly.
Exactly.
So he's one great big sports junkie. He plays football, which is awesome. I never got the chance. So just like you were saying, that's living your dreams through your kids.
Yeah.
And my wife and daughter actually came to the Globetrotters for the first time with us the other
Okay.
day, and even they had a blast, which
Oh,
was
so it
awesome.
wasn't you and your son's first time either then. You guys have
No,
been in the
no.
past.
Yep, we went there a year ago,
Okay.
and he did. He enjoyed it, and as soon as he saw the commercial on TV, it's Dad. Can we go? Can we go? When can we go? It's like, all right, buddy. Let me talk to mom, and
Yeah.
we made plans, and the four of us went.
Yeah, that's so cool. I went one year. I think I was like 13 or 14. I just had the
Hmm.
coolest experience though because I was a huge basketball player all the way up
Yep.
until freshman year of high school. Then I had to decide whether or not to go pursue swimming or basketball. And I'm white and I don't have that great of a vertical, so I went with the swimming.
I hear you.
But dude, I absolutely love. Like my passion is basketball, so I absolutely love that you kind of share that with your son. You know.
Oh yeah, every day doesn't matter, rain, snow, sleet, whatever it is. You tell him, "Let's go play basketball." He's all over it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. How old is your son, if you don't mind me asking?
He's 10.
He's 10. Oh, so he's like
Yep.
right in the thick
Oh yeah,
of
and like I
everything.
said, man, doesn't matter. He's all over it.
Gotcha. And where do you guys live? Or where about?
We're in upstate New York. Have you ever heard of a town, or well, not a town, city, Rochester or Buffalo?
Rochester. I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, we're probably 15, 20 minutes, half an hour at most from Rochester.
Okay.
We're in a little town called Naples, New York.
Okay. Cool. I don't know if I've heard of
Yep.
Naples, New York. I've heard of Naples in general, but
I
not New
mean,
York.
you blink and you'd miss it. Believe it or
Yeah,
not, that's how
that's
small the
small.
town really is.
Oh, okay, cool. Have you always been grown from or born and raised, I
Um,
should say, in New York?
Actually, believe it or not, this is a weird story. I've actually heard it a
Let's
couple of
get it,
times
man.
growing up.
I'm excited.
So when I was born, I was actually born in Bremerhaven, Germany, if you could say that.
Okay.
Um, my father was in the military, and I was actually almost born on a German ferry boat. No joke. That's where my mom went into labor. Um, I was a I don't even know the term for it, but I had a medical condition when I was born as a kid. And believe it or not, this is going to sound very weird, but I've actually died once, believe it or not. Like my
Oh,
mom actually had to resuscitate me and everything else, hence the nickname Superman. That's kind of where that came from
okay.
because I've been there and back. But so then after that, we wound up coming back to Naples because that's where my mom was originally from, and I've been here all my life. I mean, I can't even remember anything about Germany,
Germany? Yeah.
but that's what I've been told the story of. But the actual, the whole medical condition that's been documented and everything.
Okay, so what is that medical condition? If you're comfortable talking about it.
I can't actually remember what the name of it was, but
Okay.
literally my heart used to just every once in a great while would just like stop.
Like
And it
all
sounds
function would just drop, I
yep.
would imagine.
You would wind up losing your bodily functions
Yeah,
and
I can
everything else,
imagine.
and it would just like instant, death. And then, it would just randomly just start beating on its own again. I
Okay.
mean, my mom, I I don't know how she did it because now being a parent, how you could, hang on to your kid and know they're not breathing or their
Yeah,
heart's not even beating.
I can only
So,
imagine. So what would she
mhm.
do to resuscitate you? You said she resuscitated you a couple times.
um, the one time she basically mouth to mouth, and then I was put on what they call, I think it's called an incubator, kind of to basically monitor me, everything, and basically a machine for the first probably year and a half of my life.
Okay.
So,
Wow. And then at what point in your life did it kind of subside and you like, or when was the last time you had an incident, I should.
um, me personally, I can't remember the last time I
Okay.
had one.
So you were a
Um,
little kid.
oh yeah, I was an infant. I mean, I still have the borderline asthma that used to have. I still have that, but with growing up and being active and trying to be an athlete and everything, I can deal with that.
Sure.
There's just sometimes where it's like, okay, I got to take a break for a minute, and
Yeah,
then I'm good to go.
for sure. Wow, man,
So,
that's crazy. So that I just thought
mhm.
Superman was like your favorite like comic book character, and you just named it after that.
Y-
You know,
Well,
goes a little
he
bit
is,
deeper.
and yep, but it does. It holds a lot deeper roots, and I've just because I'm always that person that loves to help people out and everything. So, like I say, it's a deeper meaning, but it's also a nickname that's just stuck.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. That's actually very interesting. I've never heard of a condition of that nature.
Hmm.
You know, so it's crazy doing this podcast. The things that I've just learned through talking to the streamers of all sizes, you know, and
Right,
hearing their story. And what I find the most fascinating by doing this or through doing this is just the stuff that you learn that's not even associated through streaming, you know,
right.
and the stories that everybody has to tell because everybody has their own story, you know,
Hmm.
and yours is definitely very unique and a very it puts things into perspective. I would say it makes us very grateful for the time that we have, you know.
Right.
Um, I don't want to like talk about me too much, but I went through a not a similar situation, but I went through a situation when I was 18. I was a professional swimmer. I had to
Hmm.
get hip surgery, and
Oof.
they were lymph nodes and large lymph nodes. You know, like the ones that you have in your
Hmm.
neck and whatnot. You also have them all through. It's a lymphatic system that you have throughout your body,
Right.
and so there's ones in like your hips that go down like your thigh that that control like the lower body. You know, of
Hmm.
like infections, they'll flare up if you have an infection or whatnot. Had to get one taken out. I thought it was a hernia at first because it swelled up so bad so
Right.
bad, and it was like right in that perfect spot. Everybody thought it was a hernia until we went to the surgeon, and they were like, "No, that feels a little weird. Let's X-ray it. Let's make sure we know what we're looking at." And it was the lymph nodes. So they had to take them out, make sure that they weren't like cancerous or anything.
Hmm.
It came back benign, and everything was good. But during the surgery, there was some negligence, and
Right.
because of it, I ended up getting a heart condition because I was so sick
Hmm.
after the surgery. I went home, everything was fine, and I ended up losing like 60 pounds in 3 weeks. And
Wow.
because of that, my aortic valve kind of shut. You know, it
Hmm.
stunted, so it wouldn't pump as much blood through that valve. So because of that, I had to retire because if I got my heart rate past a certain point, it would
Right.
potentially rupture. You know, and there was a
That's tough, man.
yeah, it was crazy. There was a point in the hospital where they didn't know if I was gonna make it or not. You know, and it
Hmm.
really, for me at least, put things into perspective and put my life into perspective. And I don't know if you've listened to any of my other podcasts, but after I was done swimming, I kind of went on this like sabbatical where I wanted to do like anything and everything, you know, and I
Hmm.
took every opportunity that I possibly could that sounded exciting. I wanted to live life to the fullest because you never really, it sounds cliche, but you honestly never really know when it's going to be your last day, you know? You wanna
Right. Exactly.
you wanna make sure you live it to its fullest. You know?
Oh yeah, I hear you, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, what was life kind of growing up for you then? Was there a lot of restrictions that your mom kind of put on you? I would imagine being a parent wanting to like kind of coddle you a little bit.
Well, well, at first, being the only child, and then eventually 2 years after my brother came along, and then 2 years after that, my sister came along. So mom, also at the same time being a single parent, there was times she was working and everything. So she, not that she wasn't there, but she wasn't
Sure,
like always there because she had to work, provide, and
sure, of
everything.
course.
And boys will be boys. You know, got into anything and everything. So I mean, not so much coddling, but I mean, she did watch over, but she didn't necessarily, because I'm that type of person where if I want to do something,
You're gonna do
I'm
it
going to put my
regardless.
mind to it and I'm going to do it no matter what anybody tells me,
Yeah,
kind of thing. And mom learned that very early.
yeah.
So, I mean, it was okay, you can do that, but this could be kind of your consequences. So you just got to kind of, and it was okay, mom, I got it. And again, like I said, still do it. Didn't matter what it was. And then she kind of really started to ease off when, I got into basketball through the school, started playing ball all the time, and she just finally would ease up.
Okay,
So,
I gotcha. And at what age did you start playing basketball?
I actually started just like my son back in like the fifth grade.
Hmm?
Because he does what's called like it's a travel team. I mean, it's still through the school where he is, but he's in fifth grade now. This is his like second or third year, and I did the same thing basically, and right up through until I graduated, and he's probably going to wind up doing the same thing because again, if he wants to play, because I have that, still that drive and everything, I'm right there with him
Right.
to the point where it's like, okay, we got to take a break
Yeah.
because dad's not that young anymore.
That is very true. And were you born in '85? Is that where the '85 comes into play?
Yep, that's where the 85 comes
Okay.
into play.
So 2020, you're looking at 1535.
You got it.
Okay, cool. Quick math. Not that it's that impressive.
but
Uh,
not until June though.
oh, okay. Oh, you're Cancer, dude. I'm
Yep,
July.
yep.
I'm July.
Uh, Another interesting, funny fact, to go with the 85 and the whole baby story, I was actually born on Father's Day, June 16th, 1985,
Okay.
which was really cool. My mom kept telling me all the time that I was basically my grandfather's Father's Day gift.
Oh, there you
So,
go.
and my wife, believe it or not, was actually born on Valentine's Day, so her birthday's coming up this
Man,
coming
that's
week.
that's great for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can imagine.
get two birds, one stone.
Do you though? Like, do you get two
Oh yeah.
presents, or how does that work?
Well, she see with her, when you get married, it's easy, happy wife, happy life.
Exactly.
So it's okay. You know what, dear? Your birthday's coming up Friday. It's Valentine's Day. Go out, get whatever you want, and just say it's from me, and we'll call it good. And it works that way, man. We
That
it's that.
works.
Oh yeah, believe it or not, that.
Hold on,
So
hold on, hold on,
that's the
hold on.
secret.
I need, I need,
You
I
gonna
need to take
write that
notes.
down? But that's the way I am, man. It's whatever makes you happy because when you're happy, that makes me happy, and
Sure.
life is good that way.
Yeah, I think honestly, that kind of mentality, you're a people pleaser, by
Mhm.
nature. I can imagine, just
Yep.
from that outlook, And I feel like there's so many people that don't have that outlook
Mhm.
that kind of like screw themselves, so to speak,
Right.
you know. But there's also a fine line on not being a pushover either, so I can
Right.
understand
Exactly.
both. But it's a happy balance, just like anything. But that's kind of got to suck for you too, though, because your birthday's on Father's Day too.
Yeah,
So
but see,
it's like
I
a
get the
double-edged
double
sword.
dip.
You
I get
do?
the double dip when my birthday falls on Father's Day. I get the double dip too.
Uh huh. How so?
So because then I get two times the gifts. Because see, I get the birthday gifts,
Yeah,
but
and
then
then the
on top
Father's
of it,
Day
I get the
gifts.
Father's Day
But
gifts
so she
too.
gets the
So
same ones too. Then she gets a double dip
right,
right back.
every year.
Huh?
'cause see, hers is every year because Valentine's Day and her birthday are the same day
Yeah.
every single year, but mine is only I think it's, like, every 4 years is how it works out.
Oh, let's go,
So,
man.
at least every 4 years, I'm making out.
Yeah, yeah. That's funny, man. Dude, I don't think I've met somebody that like both them and their significant other share like a holiday as a birthday.
Mhm.
You know?
And to really throw it way off in left field, both my kids were almost born on Thanksgiving. My kids,
What were you
no
doing
joke,
9 months before Thanksgiving, bro?
I can it sounds bad, but I can pinpoint it. But, both my kids were born on, one was the 6th and one is the 16th, so they're 10 days shy of being exactly 2 years apart.
Okay. Okay. Nice, man.
So
Yeah, no, my I was born July 16th. My sister was born July 20 uh no, I know
your
the
sister's not
26th.
watching, it's
It's
okay.
the 26th or the 28th. I believe no, she's 28th and my brother's the 26th because he's older, but like it's like I've just switch it in my head.
Right.
But 2 days apart. They're literally born 2 days apart, and then I'm over here like 2 weeks later, being like, "Welcome to America," you know. And yeah, I'm the baby of the family. But yeah, like something was going on between like my mom and my father around that time. You know what I
Right?
mean? Around God, what is that? Like November, I would imagine.
Mhm.
I don't know. It gets cold. It gets cold.
There you go.
That's all we can say. But dude, that's cool. So growing up, you were heavily into sports. You're 35, so you're probably right in like the Atari kind of
Yep.
Nintendo phase. Did you ever play any of those games, or did you?
My actual first video game was on my mom's Atari, and it was a game called Frogger, if you remember
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. I didn't personally play it. They've
Well,
remastered it a bunch of times, but I know of Frogger. Yes.
yep. Frogger was my actual first actual video game. Then I started out with the original Nintendo.
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers was like my all-time favorite. I mean, me and my brother and my sister, day in, day out, all day. Um, Duck Hunter was actually, believe it or not, sounds sad to say this, but my first shooting game ever.
Hey, that's all that
Um,
was out there at the time.
but again, same thing, all day, every day. And then what had happened is I kind of gave up gaming for a while there because of the sports thing taking over and everything. And then I wound up getting back into gaming when the original PlayStation came out.
The PS1, okay.
Yep, PS1, and I
That
can't.
was a
I
jump though,
know.
wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
From like what it was to what the
Yep.
PS1 was?
I mean, I played a little bit of Sega Genesis back then, when Sonic was the first big boom for
Sure.
Sonic. And then, with PlayStation, a bunch of mismatched games, like some of them I can't even remember. A lot of like Need for Speed, back when GTA was like just starting out.
Yeah.
And then again, like I said, I gave it up for a while, wound up uh getting together with my wife, who, believe it or not, was like my best friend all the way through high school. We've known each other since the third grade.
Wow.
Um, and then, so my brother-in-law, who actually married my baby sister, has been into gaming like all his life,
Okay.
and he was a big Xbox guy, still is. Not that we, by the way, Xbox people don't hate PlayStation people.
But we hate you. It's
Uh,
okay. Just kidding. Just kidding.
That's good. So he says, "Man, you really got to try this. I know you used to game. You got to get back into this." And my gaming, there was no headsets involved. There was no talking to people. It
Sure.
was you in the video game. And he said, "Yeah, man, you could talk to people all over the place and everything. You got to do it. You got to do it." So we broke down one time and we got our first Xbox. And the reason, again, he was that reason, and Halo was my first taste of Xbox.
Okay.
That's Xbox's bread and butter. And again, loved Halo, could play for hours and hours. And then he got us into Call of Duty,
Okay.
and I am now 100% a Call of Duty fanboy. I can honestly say I have gotten since BO3, believe it or not, was my first Call of Duty.
Okay.
And ever since then, everything Call of Duty has been pre-ordered, betas, you name it, I'm all over it.
Yeah.
Um, it took the wife a while because she games too.
Oh, okay.
Um, oh yeah, believe it or not, actually the whole family games, man. My house is kind of like Electronic City. I have two Xbox Ones in my house. I actually have
A
an
Radio Shack for
Xbox.
the oldies
Oh,
out
oh
there.
yeah, yeah. I have an Xbox 360 in my son's room. My daughter had one. Um, so then back to when we were playing Halo and then switched over to BO3, she was kind of that hesitant, no, I want to stay with Halo. It's like, well, you're not going to get any good at it or anything if you don't try. Not that we claim to be
Yeah,
professionals or anything like that, but it's like, you're not going to like it if you try. And she finally came over, and again, it was, back then, well before streaming had even entered the picture, it was any day on the weekend, because we worked the 9 to 5. It was game on, and it was literally almost kind of turned into like our family time.
for sure.
It was me, her, my brother in law, and we would just game for hours and hours. And then, what had originally happened is me and my brother-in-law, we watched this streamer. He's now on Facebook. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, called of Elite Shot.
Elite Shot. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
He's got a big
Elite Shot.
eagle as his like.
Yep,
Yeah, yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Sean, aka Elite Shot. Yep, that's
Uh
him.
huh.
So we used to watch him all the time, because again, we're Call of Duty fans, and he was big
He's a
to us
good
on Call
player
of
too,
Duty. Oh yeah,
and he's funny too. He's got that
yes.
comedic like relief.
Hmm. So we used to always, all the time, watch, Elite Shot. And my brother, or brother-in-law, we were over at his house one day, and he says, wonder what it would be like to do something like that. Do you think that's something that, maybe we could do? And I said, I don't know. Really? You think we could be streamers? Are you crazy? There's no way. We're not entertaining. I mean, yeah, we're entertaining to ourselves because we think we're funny, but do you really think people are going to think we're funny?
Right.
So we took one day and he tried it. He jumped in first, and he's saying, "I'm telling you what, you got to try it. There's nothing like it." And after the first, couple of times that I did it, streaming to one or two people, one of them being me, the other one probably being my wife. Once that first viewer came in, and you got that, first real
Like
taste of,
reaction or
yeah,
interaction. Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, man, this is actually like really, really cool. And meeting people, like I've heard you talk in your other podcasts, meeting people across the world.
Yeah.
Like, I know people from Australia, I mean, never actually met them,
Right.
but could almost like basically say, I almost know everything about this person more than I know about some of my family members.
Exactly. And that's I was just talking about it on the previous podcast is it's crazy how like I'm a big thinker, so I'm in my head a lot.
Hmm.
And what I think about, or I was thinking about how like my real life relationships versus my
Hmm.
virtual relationships, because that's what they are,
Yep.
are so different in the way that like family, you don't get to choose your family,
Right.
like you don't get to choose your blood, and so whether you love or hate them, they're your family, and that's just how
Hmm.
it's gonna be. And like I love my brothers and my brother and my sister and my mom and everybody like that. But
Hmm.
it doesn't mean that I would necessarily choose to hang out with them.
Right.
and
No, I hear you.
and like my friends, and I don't want that to be taken out of context. Like I absolutely love spending time with them, but we're very different people,
Hmm.
and like even like my friends, I only have a couple of like real life friends that I would consider friends because I
Right.
audit a lot. So like if somebody's not bringing me value in terms of happiness, if they're
Hmm.
negatively impacting my life, I audit them kind of um, out of
Circle.
my circle. Yeah. So not my father was in baseball growing up, so I moved around a lot. I've moved around a lot as
Hmm.
an adult. So like I don't stay in one place for an extended period of time. So that's also probably in part to it. But
Right.
to kind of come full circle with that is I was reflecting on like my relationships in the virtual like world rather than the like in real life. And I'm so much closer to those inside of like the community that we've all built,
Mhm.
that like there's things that I've told like people, and there's people that have told things to me that I'm sure they've never told like other people or people that are close to them, you know? And it's just like you said, you
Yep.
find out so much more. And it got me thinking, is like it's the generation that we live in now, where there's never been a time
Mhm.
where you've been able to establish yourself in a community that is not in a physical location near where you live.
Right.
You know, like you might have had like your army buddies if you were in the military, you know, that you would like
Mhm.
call or write or whatnot, but never to the degree that we are in right now, where we can talk to each other and legitimately have interactions on a
Mhm.
daily basis, you know? And
Exactly.
it made me question, like, is that any less valuable than a real life relationship? And I don't think that it is. I think it's almost more
Yeah, I
valuable,
don't either.
right? It's
Uh,
fascinating to me.
yeah, I can 100% agree with you because just like, some of the other people that you've had on here, like the Squishy Beard, I know Squishy.
Yeah,
I've actually played with Squishy before.
yeah.
Squishy's a great guy. Like people that I was telling you about from Australia, Ms. AMR, because you've talked about how you know Aussie skills.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if you know Ms. AMR, but they're
Mhm.
both, they've talked to each other. I actually follow Aussie.
Oh,
Another great guy.
okay. Yeah.
Um, there's been one guy,
Ozzy was actually
and
on the podcast. He was like my third ever episode of the podcast,
really,
but the video got corrupted, and so we weren't able to use it. So
oh,
it made me so disappointed because it was a great conversation with him. So
mm,
absolutely want to get back on that with him.
but me and my brother-in-law, like I said, when we jumped into streaming, we almost, I guess you kind of call it like co-streaming because we're always together and
Sure.
we just kind of vibe off of each other.
Mhm.
And then meeting one, believe it or not, what I do is I'm a big believer in, paying it forward, supporting others, because at one point I was there, I know what it feels like.
100%.
And at the same time, I know what that reward feels like when you get to it, like becoming affiliate, that sitting there for hours and hours with nobody at your stream and anything, and somebody just to come by and say hey or something, to me that was a big deal, and I love doing that for other people. Like there's a guy, I don't know if you know, but I mean I've heard you talk about like Black Mamba and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a guy by the name of Santa Cruz Gaming.
Dude, funny
um
enough, just had him on like 3 hours ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Santa Cruz is my man, bro.
He's gonna be
I
on
mean,
Monday's episode. You're on
yep.
Wednesdays.
Yep. Let me tell you what, Santa Cruz and I, we have exchanged personal numbers. We talk to each other every day. We're in each other's streams constantly.
Yeah.
Um, this guy, he has given me more than I can ever ask for.
Uh huh.
And just like, he's no different than me, you, any other average person that you see, and that's what I think is unbelievable about streaming. You don't have to be, this superstar or elite shot or whatever. You make you for who you are,
Yeah.
and people like you for you. you know I want people to come to my stream not necessarily just because of the game I'm playing. I mean, yeah, that could make them come into the stream, but I want them to hang out because of the interactions that they have within my community. Therefore, then in turn my community can then go out and project that into, and also bring in other people to the community.
Exactly. And that's, dude, you pretty much just summed up this podcast. The mentality or
Exactly.
the theology behind it.
Mhm. It's almost because Miss Gigglebox is actually the person who introduced me to you,
Yeah.
and just by the things that I've learned and everything, it's almost like we're like mirror images of each other,
Yeah. I love it,
kind of.
man.
In you know, I run my Discord. I've now advanced into making a YouTube channel, which again, I don't claim to be the best player, and I know by far I'm not, but I take, like little mini clips of the best or plays of the game and everything, and almost kind of like make a little,
Montage.
skit, yeah,
Yeah.
montage kind of thing. And then, up that to YouTube. I have my Discord that I run. I even have a section literally in my Discord for people that are looking to get affiliated, that, I have them whatever they need as far as affiliation, followers, viewers, whatever. Put it in there, and my community will come in. They'll hang out with you. They'll talk to you if you need follows. Not that, I'm necessarily doing like a follow for follow thing,
Sure.
because I want people to follow who they want to follow.
Exactly.
But hey, here's people that need help that were like you at one point or
Yeah.
whomever. Just help them out. At least just go talk to them. Give
Exactly.
them a chance, basically, is what I'm saying.
Exactly. And I've adopted a very similar approach too, but I've gotten to the point kind of I don't want to like act like I have a big head by any means of
Mhm,
the definition, but I had a self promo in my Discord, which
mhm.
originally was absolutely amazing. People that were inside the community would come in and they would post it, and then we would have a bunch of people that would come in and support.
Right.
Because they were members of the community that were active inside the community, and
Mhm.
you want to support those that that you're familiar with.
Right.
And it eventually got to the point though, because our Discord started to get bigger, our viewership started to get bigger,
Mhm.
and it got to the point where people were starting to take note. And they weren't people inside of our community. They were just people that were from other streams or whatnot. And then they would constantly spam inside of that like self promo.
Right.
And it got to the point where we had kind of lost touch with the core like moral or the
Values.
purpose,
Yeah.
core value of what it's originally meant for. It was meant for those that are inside of our community to help uplift each other. And it got to the point
Right.
where those people that were trying to uplift each other were actually getting bogged down by the people that were spamming inside of that
Mhm.
channel. And so what I ended up doing is like the podcast is such a great opportunity for those to tell their story, and
Yep.
for people to get an idea into like who they are and whether or not they kind of vibe with that person. And
Mhm.
so we changed it from self promo to the podcast promo. And it was my thinking that behind shifting this, it now puts on show the podcast, the people that were on the podcast, and gives them an opportunity to shine. And I
Mhm.
only have two requirements to be on the podcast. One is just stream consistently, whether it's once a week, whether it's
Right.
3 times a week, whatever it is, just show some consistency that you're taking it serious.
Mhm.
And then secondly, just don't be an asshole. You know,
Right. No,
exactly.
yep.
Those are the only two things. I don't care if you have one viewer watching you or 1,000.
Mhm.
I want to hear your story, but I also want to know that you're going to be around long enough for my viewers to invest into you as well. You
Right.
know, and
Makes
so
sense.
so that's the approach that I've taken, and people have been loving it. Like they've been really adopted, or they've
Mhm.
adopted that kind of theology as well.
Right. 'Cause, going along with that, like, I may not have the most glamorous job. I'm a head custodian at the school where I live, where my kids go to school.
Yeah, no shame in
Um
that.
So, that's my 9 to 5, and I'm that type of person where I've got Discord on my phone. I'm always networking. I'm part of so many Discords. Sometimes it still blows my mind how many Discords I'm a part of.
Yeah.
Um, I'm now active on Twitter as much as I can be. I have an iPad that I carry for work that's usually sitting on my desk. Always constantly on break times on Twitch, checking out streamers. Mainly people that are in my community. Every once in a while, I mean, I've kind of not necessarily shied away from it, but again, with that whole affiliate thing that I've been trying to do,
Yeah.
you can only help so many people at a certain
That's
time.
exactly what it is. Yeah.
Again, you may be Superman, but you can't, you got to know your
You can't
limits.
be in two places at one time. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, I get a couple of people in the Discord, that want to join that either come through my streams or come through other people. And again, we help them out. And then once, those people, basically get affiliated and grow up, kind of thing. Not that they necessarily leave, but that's when it's like, okay, now we can bring in,
A
another,
new batch. Yeah.
right, exactly. And I'll, go down through the browser thing and Twitch and look and see, who's sitting at one, two, maybe at the most three, five viewers max, and just go in. Obviously, I'm going to give them a few minutes. I'm not just going to instantly, chat up with them or whatever,
Sure. See what they're
to
about.
kind of, right, exactly. And then just basically chat up with them, and that kind of, for me, knowing that that's making their day makes my day.
Right.
you know, just like our big thing, me and Spider-Man, that my brother-in-law, when we stream, we're really big about when we go to get off. Okay, at least if it's enough people to actually raid with, we like to again go down through that browser, look at somebody sitting at one, two, three viewers at the most, raid them because we love to see the reactions,
Yeah.
that wow factor. That's what it's all about for us, to see that person's face light up like, oh wow, man, this guy just came in, have no idea who he is, but he just dropped 10, 15 people on me. And just to see like, that wow
Yeah.
to us is kind of not necessarily why we do this, but part of why we
Oh, it's
do it.
definitely a great benefit.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
So.
I do something very similar on my stream as well. Like we'll raid or host somebody. It's typically
Hmm.
somebody that has either been on the podcast that we know, that
Hmm.
people are already accustomed to, or it's a complete random person and playing a random game at times too.
Yep.
Like I'll be like, hey, let's go take somebody out playing Minecraft and let's
Yep.
go make their day, and just try and broaden our horizons on the idea that you don't just need to support inside of like a Call of Duty community either.
Right.
You can
Exactly.
make anybody's day that's a streamer at the moment. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
and there's hundreds of thousands of streamers streaming their content now, especially with the utility of Xbox and PlayStation allowing you to stream straight from your console. Everybody and
Hmm.
their mother is a streamer, you know what I mean? And
Right.
so
Yep.
there's no shortage of people that would make their day, whereas opposed to
Hmm.
like somebody like that's holding 100 viewers. If you rate them with 10 people, they might be like, oh man, that's awesome, thank you so much, and then they move
Right.
on. You're not
Exactly.
going to get the same reaction out of, or the same gratitude, I should say, out of the
Right.
person that has one person watching. You just up them by 900%,
Yeah.
or
Exactly.
1,000 technically.
Right. Like if you raid TP with like 10 people, he's gonna look at you like, yeah, thanks, man, that's really cool. But then, okay, back to the game.
Yeah,
Where
exactly what it is.
you raid, Billy Bob or whoever's got two viewers, and you're the biggest thing in his life right now because you just gave him, 10 viewers or whatever it may
Shout
be.
out. Free shout out to Billy Bob.
Exactly. Right.
Right. But no, man, I love it, dude. I love it. And I think we're, with the streaming platforms becoming more competitive, because they are,
Hmm.
with
Yep.
Twitch and Mixer and YouTube, even though Mixer's not even really in the picture still,
Hmm.
in terms of like their net percentage of actual like reach.
Right.
But it's kind of created this ecosystem inside of streaming that there's a lot more animosity and fear of people stealing each other's viewers,
Hmm.
that they're more shy to try and uplift others, and
Right.
it's very pleasant to see somebody else that is taking a like-minded approach, in the way that, like, my philosophy is there's two ways to build the biggest building, and I've said this so many
Hmm.
times before, but you can either destroy all the buildings around you, therefore you're the tallest building, or
Hmm.
you're just good enough to be the tallest building, you
Yeah.
know? And I definitely take the latter approach because, one, I don't want to see anybody fail due to my success, you know?
Hmm.
Granted, I'm not a pushover, so if you show your teeth at me, I'm going to show my teeth back.
Exactly.
I hold my ground,
Hmm.
but I will never try to take food out of somebody's mouth that's
Right.
trying to put in the work and trying to get noticed. Even if I don't necessarily like you, I'm just going to do my own thing, you
Hmm.
know?
Just like if I'm standing up on a roof with both me and you, if you're falling, I'm gonna try and pick you up and everything, but you try and push me off, I'm gonna throw.
Yeah, you throw me off, I'm going
Yeah,
overboard.
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. No. It's just being at the end of the day, what how I've kind of seen people get a little bit larger, get a little bit more celebrity status, if you will, even if you want to call it, if you can call it that at this level, they get a big
Hmm.
head,
Yep.
and I've found that like it's just like money. Money doesn't turn you evil. It just
Mhm.
exposes who you truly are. So if you
Exactly.
get a little bit of fame, a little bit of notoriety, it's just going to expose who you were from day one. You
Hmm.
know, so that's my biggest
Right.
aspiration is to never like I need to stay in tune with my roots at all costs. You know?
The biggest thing with streaming that I've personally thought about, and it doesn't matter what number it is, but it's never about the number
Oh yeah,
ever. It's not about, okay, well, am I going to get a Twitch payout this week or month or whatever? Do I have 15, 20 viewers in my stream?
yeah,
I mean, you're going to go through those times. I've been through it, where, okay, the views are just coming in. You're sitting 15, 20 people constantly. And then, for the next like 6 weeks or something or whatever, you're streaming to three, four people.
Dang.
You know,
You want
it's,
to know something real quick though? You can see my screen, right?
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna adjust this real quick, and then I'm gonna point this over here. I don't know if you can see right there. There's a little dot right there.
Hmm.
That
Yep.
I'll show it on my other one as well, so people can see it. There's a little dot right there. It's just a little putty, and what it is it's actually there to. That's where my Streamlabs OBS is at,
Yep.
and it covers up my actual viewers.
Your number.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't. I'm a firm believer in not looking at it because I have. It's impossible not to let it get to you. Like
Mhm.
if you go from 20 and then you're automatically dropped to 5, you're like, did I do something wrong?
Right.
And
Yep.
I've gotten out of that habit by putting physical barriers in my way
Mhm.
to look at it.
And to go with that, I'm man enough to admit it because I literally just went through it. It was one of those in between droughts where you're drawing a lot of viewers and everything. Numbers are going up, and again, like I said, it's not about the numbers, but
But it's a
you
good
know,
indicator.
I
We use it
exactly.
as an indicator.
You always get your head. Everybody does. At some point or another, you're inside your head because now you're streaming. Okay, you're only getting two, three people, and it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong here? Is it the game? Is
Is
it
it me?
me?
Exactly.
What am I doing? And because again, I reached out to my community in Discord. It's like, okay, guys,
What's
can
going
you give
on?
me
Yeah.
some yeah, just give me feedback. That's all I'm looking for. You know, I'm a man. I can take it. I got broad shoulders. Just let me know what it is. Is it okay? It's the holidays. People are busy with their family. Or what? That's all
Yeah.
I'm looking for. I'm not necessarily worried about the numbers because
Yeah.
again, basically what it all boils down to, and this has been my motto since day one. If I'm not having fun, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And the minute I turn on that Xbox, it's fun for me. When it's not fun, I shut it off.
Yeah.
And I really do. That's why again, I don't stream every single day. Again, I do have a 9 to 5. I do have kids, so again, it's I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays are my big days. We do what is called like Follower Friday every Friday. Um with whatever game we're playing. Lately, it's been a lot of Modern Warfare because of the cross-platform.
Sure.
Doesn't matter what system you're on, you can play. And we play with followers all stream long. We have a queue system. You come in, you get yourself basically a number, and we play a select amount of games, and then we basically just rotate through people,
Yeah.
and that's usually our biggest draw. And then you know I always leave Saturdays and Sundays up to basically chance, I guess. If like this past Saturday, went to the Harlem Globetrotters, didn't stream.
Yeah.
You know, or if, hey, I'm not doing anything Saturday except sitting around the house. Some days that's usually family days. That's what my off days usually are. That's when I'm dad. I'm spending time with the wife, the kids. Um, But if again we're not doing anything, okay, I'll get on, I'll stream for a little while.
Yeah.
Or, like today, I've streamed once today and it was just a simple, hey, the wife wants to play some Blackout. Okay, we'll jump on, we'll play Blackout. And now, anytime I'm on my system, I stream. It's just a habit. And again, I could stream to two people, I could stream to 20 people, to 200 people. It doesn't matter to me because I'm just having fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, there's a difference because like I obviously view this as a little bit more like personally as a business, you know,
Yep.
and so I do. Again, I'm very in my head about like my thought process and everything of that
hmm
nature. And so I'm always trying to think of ways to engage more, but at the front of it, it's always about building the community first. You know,
Yep.
I'm a firm believer that if you build a strong enough community, the community is there, the money will come later. You know, like I don't,
hmm
the money is an
Exactly.
afterthought to me. It's still something that is required to do this as a job if you are seeking
hmm
it, which I am, but it's not the number one. Like I don't need money from people because I can pay my own bills right now through like my coaching. You know,
Right.
is it a lot? No, but it allows me to pay my bills and allows me to continue with my passion of being a streamer. You know,
hmm
um, but uh, what I do find is a lot of people that want to stream don't necessarily have the forethought that you do of like trying to build a community. They just kind
Yep.
of hop on and they say, "Oh, I'm trying to become a streamer," but all they're really doing is just playing video games
hmm
and then putting on their stream. You know, they use it
Right.
almost as an excuse to play video games
hmm
where like I view that as a negative impact
Right.
into their productivity, you know,
hmm
and what they can get done. Because there's a point of like you have to be able to have a goal and understand where you want to go if
hmm
you want to realize something. You know, like for you, you don't necessarily need that because you have a full time job, you have kids,
Right.
you know what you want out of it, you know. But then there's like the
hmm
17 or 18-year-old kids that are saying, like, oh, I want to be a streamer. And all they do is hop on the game and play for 8 hours a day. But they're not on Twitter, they're not on Discord, they're
Yep.
not networking, they're just playing the game and hoping that they're going to get discovered, which not 2012 anymore. That's not a viable
Exactly.
way to get discovered.
It's just like the saying goes: if streaming was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of people doing it, you know, but
hmm
who's doing it well, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
If you want something bad enough, you got to put the work in it to get anything out of it. And if you don't put the work in it, you're not going to get anything.
exactly. And I don't think people realize how much time it actually goes
hmm
into playing the game, or I mean, just being a streamer. Like playing the game
Oh
is
yeah,
for me
that's the
25%
easiest
of
part.
25% of my workload
hmm
actually, and it's the 25 best percent. You know, it's the best
Right.
25% that I have. But the rest is researching, doing market research, seeing what
hmm
other people are doing around you, seeing what's a
Yep.
trend, seeing like where the eyes are at, and then also just like seeing where you can get organic reach from certain videos, and then the rest is editing and learning new editing styles and things like that, making thumbnails. It's a lot,
Right.
you know. It's a lot that goes
No, I
into
hear
it.
you. But
It's
uh,
fascinating to me.
yep, same thing. Working that 9 to 5, like you were saying. But then, like every day when I'm not streaming, even when I'm at work, when I'm on breaks, it's being in other people's streams,
Exactly.
networking, Twitter, Discord. I'm always constantly doing something revolving around not necessarily just my stream.
Yeah.
I mean, quite a bit of it's my stream, but my community, and then on the days where I do stream, it's like, okay, you know, oh, I'm out of work at 4. Yep, I'm getting home.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be getting on, 5:30, 6 o'clock. You've got to post that stuff
Yeah.
and everything
It's
else
still
so
a
people
job,
know.
you know. It's a job that you
Exactly.
enjoy, but it is still you still have to view it
Right.
as such, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also getting people to realize too, hey, I'm still a dad, I'm still a family man. Things happen because people have a life, that still goes on behind the scenes that you don't see.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, hey, sorry guys, might have to cancel the stream. You can't just up and not stream, because then people, are, hey, what happened? Everything all good,
Yeah, you just
so
fell
on and
off the
so
face of
forth.
the earth. Yeah,
Exactly. You know, so again, just like you said, the streaming is still a job,
yeah,
because you're always constantly having to do something with it.
exactly, exactly. And do you stream off of your PlayStation, or do you have a? Are you
I Right now,
you have
currently,
another
I
auto?
stream right off my Xbox.
Okay. Or yeah,
I
Xbox. Yeah.
have, yep, I have my Connect for my camera right now.
There you go.
So
That's
again,
so important. If you stream from a like a console,
yep,
having a webcam that you interact with is
exactly.
so nice.
Yeah, I have my Connect that I use for a camera. I'm gonna be taking some of my tax return. Now that and this is another part of it too that other people don't see. Now, being the family man, that happy wife, happy life thing. I gotta clear everything through the
For
wife,
Valentine's
because
Day too. You
exactly.
got
It's like,
Valentine's Day
hey,
coming up, man, which is the
yeah, it's
birthday.
like, hey, honey, you go out, you get whatever you want for your birthday and Valentine's Day. When tax return comes in, I'm gonna go get myself a computer so I can stream with, which,
Exactly.
she's cool with,
I'm sure she supports
and
it too. Yeah.
oh yeah, my wife, believe it or not, has actually streamed a couple of times.
Okay.
Um, so, and basically to me, it was, hey, I'm not saying you have to do this, but just try it out, so 'cause it's nice to talk to people about stuff,
Yeah.
and bounce ideas or anything or whatever, because my wife she's very creative. She's helped me through some things, yeah, that looks good. No, you probably shouldn't do that. But now, with her having the streaming experience, now she's been through part of it. So now, bouncing off ideas is not like, not,
Yeah.
sorry, the wording, but talking to a wall, so to speak.
Yeah. No,
You
definitely.
know, she knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when a person understands what you're going through rather than just
Right.
hearing about what you're going through.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, and for me, that's like Miss G. I can't like give her enough praise because she's literally the community manager
Right. She's
for the
awesome.
stream. She's absolutely amazing. Like me and her legitimately talk practically every night over the phone about whether it
Mhm.
be strategy, how we're doing, if we need to reach out to anybody that might be having a hard time or things like
Right.
that. She's definitely keeps the pulse on it, and I'm so thankful for her. But she her and like TP Coder are the ones
Mhm.
that I really confide in. Not that I can't confide in others by any means, but
Right.
like TP, I love him because he's a business guy. He's got a
Mhm.
very adept business mind. And so I can
Yep.
bounce ideas off of him on what I'm thinking about possibly doing in the future, whether it be for merch or just kind of a business model.
Mhm.
And then Miss Gigglebox, I can approach her with I bounce stuff like that off of her as well, just because the more
Right.
the merrier. But I also bounce the community based stuff off of her. So it's kind of cool to have a couple people that have different strong suits that you can kind of lean on for
Mhm.
their opinions, and you respect their opinions and you really take it and evaluate, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got a nice group of people right there. You got TP with business, and
Yeah.
the management, so to speak, and then Miss Gigglebox, the people person community. That's a nice little setup you got
It
there.
really is, man. It's not just me. Like I view it as like a band. Like the
Mhm.
lead singer
Yep.
gets all of the praise, but it's not the lead singer. There's so many
Exactly.
moving parts, not just the drummer, not just the bass, not just the guitar, but also like the electrical engineers behind the scenes. It takes
Mhm.
an army for this to happen. And that's why whenever I approach like things that like I always say we've achieved is because it's not just me that has achieved this. There's a community backing me that puts in all that work, and that's what like the logo, the Slevtek logo,
Yep.
is for. That gear actually represents like the small part we all play inside of like a machine. It's a small
Yep.
gear.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter our size. If you take one small gear out, that machine is not gonna work. And
Mhm.
so that's the biggest thing for me is always showing appreciation to whoever however you can support whatever your purpose is inside of the stream or the community. It's so important.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. And going with that, like you were saying, it doesn't matter. Never is a sub required, a
Exactly.
donation, bits. I mean, granted, getting those things, that's awesome.
Oh, it's a
Not,
great feeling.
but just to have somebody in there, whether it be in stream, Discord, Twitter, whatever, just to make that connection is what
Exactly.
it's all about.
Yeah. And for me, like what I always say is, it's however you can support. So some
Yep.
are in a financial situation where they have disposable income, and that's a way that
Hmm.
they choose to support because they're able to. You know.
Right.
Then you have others that have either lost their job or going through some hard times. We've all been there.
Hmm.
We all understand. Or you're a 14-year-old kid and just don't have money. And the
Right.
only way you can support is with your time. And time is the most valuable commodity. So there's no, like, for me, it's just, I just ask whatever way you guys can support is whatever way you can support. If you have an extra $5 and you don't know what to do with it and you want to support me, by all means. But I don't ever want to take like food out of your mouth. You know.
Exactly.
But also to go back to the community aspect of it all, now, like, just talking to you, I've realized that I've kind of adopted my uncle's philosophy on like my business, because he's a business owner from Puerto Rico.
Hmm.
He owns like all of like the installations and then operations of like intercom systems and
Okay.
like speaker systems throughout like grocery stores and like malls and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, very very successful, like multi-million dollar business, very successful businessman. And his philosophy that he would tell me early on, because we would visit him in Puerto Rico like every year, him and like my aunts and then my cousins, uh,
Hmm.
he would always tell me um, that like his biggest trait in business is that he treats everybody the same, whether it's the CEO or the janitor. You treat everybody with the
That's
same
right.
level of respect. And that's
Hmm.
one thing that I'm thinking from talking to you, I've adopted, is I treat everybody, whether it be somebody that's donated over $1,000 to my stream or somebody
Yep.
that just donates their time. You
Exactly.
treat everybody with respect, you treat everybody the same, and you don't favor one person over the other. And that's how
Hmm.
you keep a strong community. That's how you keep a strong business alive, because everybody feels important because they are. You know?
Exactly. Just like, you get that one person that comes into your stream, you know, and it could be anybody, your regulars. They come into your stream, they make your day popping in, just saying, hey, and you've made that connection. Like we have Santa Cruz, we call him Bud Light because that's,
That used
his
to be his
name.
name. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Until
So,
Bud Light came in and told him no. That's
exactly.
kind of
You know,
awesome.
right. Bud Light, Squishy, Glock. I don't know if you've heard about
Uh-uh.
Glockster
Haven't.
yet. He's good friends with Santa Cruz, Squish. Glock's another one. D Guy comes into the streams. These guys, we all have that positive connection to where they may not be in there every single minute of every single stream, but that at the drop of a hat, if you needed something, whatever it may be, those guys are there.
Yeah,
And the same goes the other way. Hey, you need something, I got you.
exactly.
And that's the meaning of community. And if, believe it or not, if the world was actually more like that, it'd be a lot better of a place.
I, poor man, really, really couldn't. That's where politics get sticky, and there's
Mm-hmm.
just so many obstacles set in place. Because I do genuinely believe that at the core of every being, every community, every nation, if you look
Hmm.
at it from a micro level, like the everyday citizen, they
Yep.
want to do right. You give them the opportunity, you give them the ultimatum, they're going to 9 times out of 10 choose the better choice for humanity. It's just
Hmm.
where the egos and then the greed and all of those aspects come into play that form. Again, I'm not going to go into politics or anything like that, but it does hinder our ability to positively impact, because those at a higher position of power can manipulate certain aspects of legislation or whatever
Hmm.
to benefit them and going back to benefiting yourself at the expense of someone else, that's where those
Right.
wrong people are taking advantage of that situation or that power.
Mhm.
Very insightful. I feel like I've kind of like gone like more existential in this conversation more than I have in most podcasts, man. I love it.
But no, and with at least on my side of things, to me, it's not a community. To me, that's almost like my extended family.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, I get to, okay, it's Tuesday. Here it is. It's 4 o'clock. Yep. I'm getting home. I get to stream. I get to see, these people. I get to hang out with these people. And I get to do it just because I want to do it. Doesn't cost me anything.
Nobody's forcing you to. Yeah.
Exactly. And they like me for me. I don't have to be anybody special. I don't, not that I'm trying to bash on anybody, but I don't have to be elite shot to get these guys to come hang out with me.
Well, yeah.
They want to hang out with me because they want to hang out with me.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
And that's the tricky part when you get a little bit of like success or fame,
mhm,
especially at the level of elite who has millions of people that support
right.
him, over the years, that it's hard to scale that. It's
Mhm,
hard to scale that community aspect, that close knit community where everybody knows everybody, because it's just physically not possible,
right.
but it's, in my eyes, the only way that you can approach that is you try to achieve the best that you can inside of that,
Mhm,
so you try and make that foundation starting out as strong as possible, and you
yep.
filter those who do not align with that out, and
Mhm,
you are left with this very strong base that you can grow upon and build a nice tall skyscraper, you know
agreed. Yep.
so yeah, man, I
But
love it. Well, we're reaching up on the hour, man. This is like the hour's
hey,
flown by, my man.
I know,
Jeez.
buddy.
Well, dude, I
Crazy.
I appreciate you coming out, man.
Anytime, brother.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that has been an hour. That has been this episode. If you guys have gotten this far, make sure to go down in the description down below and go give my man Superman85 a nice big fat follow over on Twitch. I'm going to also link all of his other social media handles and things of that nature down below. If you guys are watching this on the audio experience, and you still have the links down in the description, but it's a little bit harder to get to for you guys. So if you just go into Twitch and type in Superman85, no spaces, he'll pop up. He's there. Just give him a quick follow. It's free. It's free 99. And yeah, it would make his day. But guys, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your day. This has been Slevtek's Roundtable, and I will see you guys in the next one.